Hi again. Ms. D says, thank you for checking out my YouTube channel in the past and for tuning in today. I hope you share, like, and subscribe. And I really, really appreciate all of you who have been supporting and watching videos in the past. So I have a story today. It's a family story. And it's about my mother, who, after she passed, I reflected back on her life and I decided that I would name her a Genteel Militant. Now, everybody knows, who is acquainted with our family, that my mother was a very gentle woman, not loud, uh, didn't speak a lot, but when she spoke, it was with volume and with great levity and gravity. Uh, and she was not confrontational at all. And if you knew O'Neill, she loved to shop. Loved to shop. And she would often take us, sisters and brothers, there was 5 of us, we would go shopping with her to all the little various boutiques and little off-the-wall places that she would find. Wonderful contemporary clothing, just great, great prices. So one day we went shopping, my mother and I, to one of her little boutiques that just happened to be in the neighborhood with mostly white people. And they weren't used to seeing too many black people in the boutique. So quite often, when you're in that situation during that time, and maybe even still today, the security guard would eye you as soon as you walked into the store and follow you. Now, this was not a place that my mother had not visited before. She was very well acquainted with the manager, but she just happened to be there on an off day when the manager wasn't there and the security guard who was familiar with her was not there. This was someone that didn't know her, so he followed us around the store. And I noticed my mother getting a little agitated because as we were walking around the store, she noticed there were other people that the security guard wasn't even looking at, slipping things into their bag. So my mother turned to the security guard and she said, "I work hard for my money and I pay for what I want." And she walked away from him and the security guard stepped back, but he still continued to follow us. So we had some wonderful things in our shopping cart. Oh man, it was some great, great stuff. We get to the counter and I noticed my mother was getting more and more agitated, but if you didn't know her, you wouldn't know. But I saw something change a little bit. And when we got to the checkout, the lady rang up all of our garments. I was so excited because we got some good stuff up in here. Ooh, I was going to be dressed good when I went back to college. And when the lady finished ringing it up and gave my mother the price, she looked at the lady and she said, "You see that security guard over there?" And the lady said, "Yes." Well, he followed us around the whole time we were in this store. And I've shopped in there before. And I always pay for what I want. In the meantime, there were other people that were stuffing things in their bag. He needed to be watching them. And I told him, and he didn't pay attention to what I was saying. So you know what? I don't want it. Take it all back. And the lady said, I said, "I don't want it." And we turned around and walked out of the store. I was kind of devastated. I wasn't going to have those nice clothes anymore. But in that moment, as I reflect back on it, and even then in that moment, my mother taught me a very, very important lesson. That you have to be indignant, righteously indignant for your own pride, if for no other reason, even if the other people don't get it. You have to stand for the fact that you deserve to be treated justly and fairly. And she demonstrated that to me without raising her voice, without getting arrested, without screaming, yelling, and cursing. She made her point, and she refused the items, even after they had been rung up. She said, "I don't want them." And she turned and marched out of the store. Hard lesson to learn, but it was a good lesson, one that I carry with me to this day. If they don't treat you right, don't give them your hard-earned dollar. And I always pay for what I want.